Hello everyone. Welcome to the session 13 of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. So in this session we are going to discuss about the equivalence of the regular expressions followed by how to construct a finite automata from regular expression. So we discuss these concepts with certain problems. Okay. In the previous session, we have seen what is a regular expression. So we defined that regular expression is an algebraic expression that describes some set of strings. Okay. So we can also represent the set of strings by using this regular expression. Then we have seen how to represent the regular expression or how to define a regular expression in a mathematical way by considering the various properties. Okay. Next, we have seen what is the regular set. So any set which is defined by a regular expression is called as a regular set. Okay. So every regular expression defines some set of strings. That set of strings is called as a regular set. Okay. Then we have seen how to represent the language of a regular expression. So where we discuss that if R is a regular expression, then the language which is represented by regular expression R is denoted as L of R, right? So this is the representation which we have seen. Okay. Next one, we have seen the identity rules of the regular expressions. So they are mainly used for simplifying the given regular expression, right? Sometimes you may be given a problem related to that simplification of regular expression. So you may be given a regular expression that you must simplify it. Okay. So in order to simplify the given regular expression, you have to use this identity rules. Okay. So you have to apply these identity rules and you have to simplify the given regular expressions. Okay. So we will discuss this concept in the coming sessions, how to simplify the given regular expression. Next one, we have seen algebraic laws of the regular expression, where we discuss which operations is following the which algebraic law. Okay, so we have seen that different operations like union, concatenation, and closure. So they are following certain algebraic laws that commutative, distributive, associative, etc. Right. Next, we have seen how to describe or define the regular expression for a given set of that means for a given properties of the language, right? So these are the some of the examples which we have seen in the previous session where we converted the given property of the language into the regular expression. That means for a given property of a language, we specified the regular expressions. Okay, so these are the various problems that we have solved in the previous session. Okay, and next in today's session we are going to discuss about equivalence of two regular expressions, right? So here, when we would say that the two regular expressions are equivalent, okay, so let me consider here I am having some regular expression P and regular expression Q. When I would say that this P and Q are equivalent, right? So in order to say that the given regular expressions are equivalent, we have to use any of the three methods here, right? So to prove the equivalence of the regular expressions, we have to use any of the three approaches mentioned here, okay, or any of the three methods that are listed here. The first one is that we prove that there are sets P and Q are same. So for a regular expression P, we can generate a regular set, and for a regular expression Q, we could also able to generate the regular set, right? If these two regular sets are equal, if the regular sets are equal, then we could say that both P and Q are equivalent. So this is the one way, right? For a given regular expressions, what we need to do is we have to generate the regular sets, right? If their corresponding regular sets are equal, then we could say the regular expressions are equivalent, okay, or they are equal, okay. Next, we have to use some identity rules to prove the equivalence of regular expression. So here, another approach that we can follow here is we can simplify or we can use the identity rules to prove that the two regular expressions are equivalent, right? So here, if P is a regular expression and Q is some another regular expression, so in order to prove they are equivalent, you have to apply the identity rules here, right? So we may apply the identity rules and we may check whether those are equivalent or not, right? So this is the second approach that we may use. Next, third one is that we can construct the finite automatas and if that finite automatas are accepting the same language, then we could say they are equivalent, right? So here you could see, if P is a regular expression, we can construct a finite automata that accepts the language which is defined by regular expression P. Just try to understand this. So if P is a regular expression, we can construct the finite automata that accepts the language defined by regular expression P. Okay. Same is the case with Q. For regular expression Q, we can define a finite automata, or we can construct a finite automata M dash, okay, that accepts this language described by regular expression Q, right? So if these two automatas accept the same language, okay, if these two automatas accept the same language, then we can say that the two regular expressions are equivalent, right? So then two regular expressions are equivalent. So any of the three approaches we can use to prove the equivalence of the regular expressions, right? So sometimes in a particular problem, uh, it may be given that you have to use this concept of identity rules, or you have to use the concept of finite automata, right? So if in a particular problem, if it is clearly mentioned the method which is to be applied, then you have to apply the same method to prove the equivalence of the regular expression, right? So if a problem doesn't specify any of the methodologies to be used to prove the equivalence, then you may go with any of the methods. Okay. So I think the concept is clear, right? So let us have a look on the various examples. That means we will use the three methods. The first method we use that by considering the sets, and followed by we use second method also, we apply the identity rules to prove the equivalence, and third one we also construct the finite automatas to check the equivalence of the regular expression. So we will discuss each one in detail. So first one, check the following regular expressions for equivalence and justify. So we have to check whether the regular expressions are equivalent or not, and we have to say whether they are equivalent, yes or no, right? So first thing, we are having the regular expression R1 is equal to A plus BB whole star. Okay. So A plus BB whole star means A union BB whole star means clean closure, followed by B plus AA whole star, right? So this is the regular expression R1. Next, in regular expression R2 is equal to A plus B whole star. That means A or B whole star. That means A plus B of clean closure, right? So we have to prove that these two regular expressions are equivalent. So here I am going to use the first method, that is by using the regular sets, right? So first what we have to do is we have to write the language associated with R1 and language associated with R2. Okay. So here first of all, if R1 is a regular expression, then its language is represented by L of R1. Okay. So we already discussed this one. So now write down the language based on the given regular expression. So first thing, you could see here A plus BB whole star. So first part we are having a star, that means clean closure. Second part is also we are having a clean closure, right? So what you need to do is that you have to generate the possible strings based upon the given pattern, right? So in this case we could say the first basic string which is going to be accept here is epsilon. Why? Because both are the clean closure. Okay, so whenever we have a clean closure, the basic string which is going to be accepted is epsilon. So epsilon will be in a language, right? So next thing is that what you have to do is start generating the strings, okay, by exploring the various possibilities, right? So first thing you could see A plus BB whole star. That means in first part you may have combination of A and BB. So you could generate any strings that consisting of any A's or BB's or combination of A BB, right? So let me write some basic string here. So one of the basic string is A. Okay, A. Next one BB. So this is the another string, right? Next two A's. Okay. Next BB. So you should have BB pattern like this, BB. So two double B's or double BB's. Okay. Next, you can mix up these characters like A, BB. So A, B, B you can mix up. Next A, B, 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 B. Next you can mix up B, B, A. So likewise you can generate the possible strings for this pattern, right? So next one. So this pattern may occur. That means this particular strings may occur either 0 times or 1 time. Okay. So if we consider this part as an epsilon, we can able to generate the strings by considering this pattern, right? So the one of the string will be B. Okay. Then next AA. So AA we have already specified. Next combination of BAA. So BAA. Okay. So both the combinations you could use. Okay. So let me call A, B, A. Likewise, so you could able to generate many number of strings. Okay, so here I have mentioned some of the strings like A is possible, B is possible, AA is possible, BB is possible, ABB is possible, BAA is possible. So likewise, from the given pattern, you have to explore the various strings. Okay. Next one, R2. So represent the language of R2 like L of R2 is equal to. Then what are the possibilities we have seen? A plus B whole star means any number of A's or B's or combination of A's and B's, right? So you could write epsilon A, B, AA, BB, AB, BA, BB, or any combination of A's and B's you may have, right? So in this pattern, you have to write the language for each regular expression. Then now try to check for the equivalence. That means just verify the two sets, regular sets that you generated. Okay, if you feel that the regular sets are equal, then you could say that the regular expression R1 and R2 are equivalent, right? So here you could observe we cannot able to generate the string BA from R1, right? Because here there is a combination of A along with BB or B along with AA, right? So we may not able to generate the string consisting of BA, right? So BA. So here BA string is present in L of R2, this one, but it cannot be generated from R1, right? So it cannot be generated from R1. So here, since BA is not present in L of R1, we could say that these regular expressions are not equivalent. Okay, so these are not equivalent. So the answer will be the regular expression R1 and R2 are not equivalent. Okay, so this is how you could write the regular sets. Okay. So I think this is the simple approach where we define the language of each regular expression and we check whether that both the languages are same or not, right? Or regular sets are equal or not. So based on that, we could able to prove that the regular expressions are equivalent or not. Next, we can use the another approach that is identity rules. So we may apply the identity rules to prove that the regular expressions are equivalent or not. Okay. So the first thing here you could see the problem is Rs plus R whole star concatenated with R is equal to R concatenated with SR plus R whole star, right? So this is the uh, expression that we are having here. So R and S are the regular expressions, right? So R is one regular expression, S is another regular expression. So what we have to prove is that they have to we have to prove that they are equal, right? So consider if you consider this regular expression, so one by one. So let us consider LHS first. So in this you are having RS plus R, right? RS plus R. So here you could take R as a common. So you may get like R followed by S plus epsilon, right? So S plus epsilon, it is nothing but it is simply we can consider that it is some regular expression like A. Okay. So I am assuming that the S plus epsilon is some regular expression A or term A, right? So we will get RA. Okay. So RA. So RS plus R is written as RA. Okay. And then whole star as it is. R will be as it is. Okay. So just what we have done here is just we have taken R common from this given regular expression, right? And we have considered that s plus epsilon as something like a, okay, ra whole star r, right? So this is how we have simplified this given regular expression, right? Next, we can also consider the RHS here. So consider RHS. So in this RHS, we could also say that we can take R as a common again. So R of S plus epsilon. Okay, so we have taken R as a common in this part, right? And this is concatenated with R. So R of RA star. Okay, R of RA whole star. So this could be written as like this, right? So if you consider this LHS part and RHS part, you could say that RA whole star R is equal to R of RA whole star, right? So we could say that by applying the identity rule 7, we could say that both are equivalent, right? So concatenating R and A and performing the clean closure, concatenating with R is same as R concatenated with RA whole star, right? So both are same. We have seen this, right? So PQ whole star, let me say PQ whole star, P is equal to P of QP whole star, right? So this is the property we could say. So the regular set which is generated by left hand side and right hand side will be the same, right? So on this property we are saying that the two regular expressions are equivalent. Okay. Next. So here also we are applying the identity rules to prove that they are equivalent. So here you could see just we are having a regular expression P plus PQ star Q. Okay. So P plus PQ star Q is equal to A star B Q star. Okay. So we have to prove that these two are equal. Okay. So here there is a value of P which is given here where P is equal to B plus A star B. Okay. P value has been given and next Q is any regular expression. So Q value we are considering it as just simply a Q, right? Now how do we do this? So take LHS part first and try to find out that any identity rules can be applied or not, right? So take the LHS part P plus P Q star Q. So in this regular expression the P is common, take P is common. So when you take P as a common you get P of epsilon plus QQ star, right? So we already know according to the identity rule, okay, so epsilon plus QQ star is nothing but Q star only, right? So we are applying the identity rule like this, epsilon plus R star is equal to R star only, right? So here this term will become Q star, right? So what is the regular expression now? PQ star. So what we have done? We have taken the LHS part and we applied the identity rules to simplify it, right? Now what we can do is that p value is given here, so just substitute that p value, so just substitute this p value in the obtained regular expression. So what is the p value here? B plus a star b. So directly just I am substituting the value here of b, right? Q star, right? Now if you consider this part of the regular expression, you could find b is a common, so take out the b as a common, b of epsilon plus a star, right? So epsilon plus a star is nothing but a star only. So you'll get b a star q star, right? So b a star q star. So it is same as the RHS, right? Same as the RHS. Since LHS and RHS are same, we could say that the regular expressions are equivalent. Okay. So this is how we can apply the identity rules to prove that the regular expressions are equivalent. Next. So this is another problem. So prove that epsilon plus a star b star B star whole star is equal to A plus B whole star, right? So here in LHS part, you could consider this A star B star as something like P or Q, whatever you wish. So P is equal to something A star B star in LHS. Then write epsilon plus this part will become P and this part will become P star, right? So epsilon plus PP star. So epsilon plus PP star is equal to P star only. So by applying that identity rule, So now you could write P star is equal to P star implies A star B star whole star. Okay. A star B star whole star. Now consider the RHS part. So we are having RHS A plus B whole star, right? Supply the identity rule, which is nothing but P plus Q whole star. So you can substitute that value here. So by referring that identity rule, P plus Q whole star, which is written as P star Q star whole star. Okay. P star Q star whole star. Right. So A plus B whole star will be written as A star B star whole star by applying this identity rule. Now if you check both LHS part and RHS part, both are equivalent. Okay. So see students here, if you are familiar with these identity rules and if you figure out which identity rules can be applied to simplify the regular expression and to prove the equivalence, then this type of problem is very easy, right? So just what you need to do is that you have to know all those 14 identity rules, right? So just main important points are nothing here is identity rules related to that closure operation. You need to remember that, okay, and you have to apply whenever there is a possibility of it. Next. So next one, equivalence of regular expressions and finite automata. So we are applying the third approach where we are going to construct the finite automata for the regular expression, right? So before going to apply the methodology 3 or process 3, we have to know how to convert the regular expression into the finite automata, right? So before going to apply the third process or third methodology, we need to know how to convert this regular expression into the finite automata, right? So basically we can say that regular expression and finite automata are equivalent in their descriptive powers. That means the language which is defined by regular expression, the same language can also be accepted by the finite automata, right? Since regular expression is defining the language which is accepted by the finite automata, we could say that both regular expression and finite automata are equivalent. Okay, so they are describing the same language. Okay? So that is the meaning here. Next, any regular expression can be converted into an equivalent NFA with epsilon. So the regular expression can be directly converted into NFA epsilon. Okay. So that NFA epsilon may recognize the same language as described by the regular expression. Right? So we have seen. Next, the language accepted by finite automata are the languages described by the regular expression. Of course. So the language which is accepted by finite automata, that language can also be defined by the regular expression. Next, a regular expression defines a language that is accepted by finite automata. Of course, these are the same point, right? This point, the meaning of this point is same as the previous one. Okay. So for a given regular expression, we can construct its equivalent finite automata that accepts the language it describes and vice versa. Okay. So we will discuss this concept shortly. Right. So students just try to understand this one. So here I have mentioned in the column 1, here I have mentioned the finite automata for the given regular set, and that regular set corresponds to the regular expression. So here I have tried to mention regular expression, its corresponding regular set, and its corresponding finite automata, right? So first thing, consider that regular expression is phi. Okay, so phi means we are going to get a phi set only. So phi set means the language, the finite automata will be like this, right? So you have a starting state q naught, you have a final state q1, right? So but there is no path from q naught to q1, right? Because it is accepting phi. Phi means null. Okay, so null. Next one, regular expression is epsilon. Then the regular set which is generated by the regular expression epsilon is epsilon only, epsilon set. So if you want to accept an epsilon, then you have to make starting state as a final state. So it's finite automata consisting of only one state, starting state, and it must be the final state. Why? Because it must accept the epsilon. Okay. Next. So here, just there is a change mistake. So next regular expression A, the regular set is set of A. Okay. So regular expression is A, the regular set is A set, right? Now, so you may define a finite automata consisting of two states, Q0 and Q1. So in Q0, if you get A, you go to the final state Q1, right? So this is a finite automata which accepts only one A. So this is the finite automata, right? Next, A plus B. So I have mentioned in the previous sessions that plus is nothing but union. Okay, A union B. So A union B is nothing but it is simply like set of A comma B. So you have to construct a finite automata that accept one A or one B. So you can take the two states Q0 and Q1. So from Q0 on A and B, you go to the state Q1, final state, right? So you could say that it is accepting the string either A or B. Okay. Next, AB. So AB means A followed by B, right? So what is the set which is generated by AB? It is simply a set consisting of only one string AB, right? So A followed by B string. So how do we construct? As we know, Q naught on A go to the state Q1, Q1 on B you go to the state Q2, right? So once you are in Q2 means you have seen A followed by B only, right? So this is nothing but sequence, right? A followed by B. So whenever you get this type of sequence like strings, just you have to construct the finite automata in this way, right? Next, A plus positive clean closure. So what are the possible strings here? A, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. So you can generate any possible number of strings of any length except epsilon, right? So how you write Q naught? If you get 1A, you go to the state Q1, final state, and that will be the final state, right? So by doing this, it is accepting a single A, right? So Q1 on self transition on A, Q1 on self transition on A, it will accept any number of A's. So 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, right? Next, A star. A star means clean closure, right? So what are the possible strings? Epsilon, A, 2A's, 3A's, 4A's, 5A's, right? So here what you can do is you can take one state which could be a starting and final state and specify the self transition on it, right? So when you specify the self transition on the set on the state Q naught, then it is going to accept the language denoted by A star. Okay. Next, A whole star. That means A followed by whole star. So what are the possible strings? Epsilon, A square. Okay. Then 4A's, 8A's likewise. Okay. 6A's, 8A's likewise. So you are going to get uh, even number of A's, right? So even number of A's. So even number of A's means you have to construct the finite automata in this way. You could take one state representing the even count and another state representing the odd count, right? Q0 is representing the even count and Q1 is representing the odd count, right? So in Q0, if you get one A means it is odd count. So you must go from Q0 to Q1 on first A. If you are in Q1 means you have seen one A. If you get one more A in Q1, it is making the count of even. So in Q1, if you get A, go to the state Q0, right? So this is how we can construct the finite automata that accepts the even number of A's, right? Next one, B star A, then A star B, B star A whole star, right? So this is the regular expression. So from this, try to generate the language. Okay. So here you are having B star. So any number of B's you may have. So let me consider the beginning as epsilon, then followed by A. And again, this part is having the whole closure. So the first possibility will be an epsilon. So epsilon means it is going to give a string as A. So that's why we got A. Right? Same as just try to substitute the possibilities of the characters or symbols here and try to explore the set of strings. Okay, so you may get like A, okay, and any number of combinations. Right? So based on this, you construct the finite automata. Okay. So this is how we can construct the finite automatas from the given regular expression. So I try to explain the various examples. Okay. So next, let us see how to convert the regular expression into finite automata, right? So here, as I mentioned earlier, that for every regular expression, there exists an NFA epsilon that accepts the language defined by the regular expression, right? So for every regular expression, there exists a NFA with epsilon, right? So we can directly construct NFA epsilon from the given regular expression, right? Right. So how do we construct? Let us have a look on that. So consider R1 and R2 be the two regular expressions, and they are defining the language as L of R1 and L of R2. Okay. So here, assume that we are having two finite automatas. FA1 is accepting the language L of R1, and FA2 is accepting the language L of R2. Right? So we have to construct the finite automata for the regular expression R1 plus R2. Right? So here you could see I have represented FA1 and FA2 mathematically like this. FA1 is equal to Q comma sigma 1 comma delta 1 comma Q1 comma F1. Okay. So here I am writing that in the finite automata 1 we are having these tuples, phi tuples. In finite automata 2 we are having these phi tuples Q2 sigma 2 delta 2 Q2 F2. Right. So here Q1 you could assume it as starting state in FA1. Q2 is starting state in FA2, right? F1 is a final state in finite automata 1. F2 is a final state in finite automata 2, right? So first, what we have to do is we have to construct the finite automata that accepts the language L of R1 plus R2, right? So whenever we get an expression like this R1 plus R2, how do we construct the finite automata, right? So just try to understand. Take the finite automata 1 as it is. So in that, I am considering that the starting state is Q1, right? And final state is F1. Okay. So first consider the finite automata 1 as it is. Okay. So in short, we are representing here. Next, consider the finite automata 2. Okay. So in finite automata 2, the starting state is Q2 something. So on, dot 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 means so on. And final state is F2. Right. So we have considered finite automata 1 and finite automata 2. Right. Now, what you have to do is, excuse me, add one starting state and one final state. Okay. After considering finite automata 1 and finite automata 2, insert or add one starting state and one final state, right? So after that, associate or specify the transition from Q naught to FA on epsilon. That means specify the transition from newly added starting state to the finite automata 1 on epsilon. Specify the transition from Q naught on FA on epsilon, right? Next, link this newly created starting state with F2 by using epsilon transition. Okay, that's it. Next, same is the case with final state. Link or associate a transition from finite automata 1 to the final state on epsilon. Okay, specify the transition from FA to finite automata 2 on epsilon to this final state, newly added final state, right? So let me consider the newly added starting state is Q naught and newly added final state is F naught. Okay, so same. So I think the process is clear. So R1 is one regular expression which is representing the language L of R1, and it is accepting the and it is accepted by a finite automata FA1. R2 representing the language L of R2 which is accepted by finite automata 2. So now how do we construct the finite automata for case 1, that is R1 plus R2? So whenever you get an R1 plus R2, what you have to do is that you have to take the finite automata 1 and finite automata 2 and associate these two automatas with respect to the newly added starting state and newly added final state on epsilon. Okay. So just you have to add one starting state and one final state, and you have to link that starting state with finite automata on epsilon, finite automata 2 with epsilon, and then specify the transition from finite automata 1 and finite automata 2 on epsilon towards the newly added final state. Okay. So that's it. So what is the resultant automata? That is FA3, finite automata 3. So how will be the states? It is like Q1 union Q2 union Q0 comma F0, right? So Q1 and Q2 are nothing but we have taken from the finite automata 1 and finite automata 2, and we are you are performing union with the newly added state. What are our newly added state? Q naught and F naught. Okay. Next, what will be the alphabet set? It is a combination of sigma 1 union sigma 2, right? Delta transition function, starting state Q naught and final state F naught. Okay. So in this fashion, we can construct the finite automata, that is NFA with epsilon, for the regular expression R1 plus R2. Okay. So here we are having the union, plus means union. So that's why from Q naught, we are having multiple transition on epsilon, right? So that means from Q naught, you may go to the finite automata 1 or you may go to the finite automata 2, right? So there is a choice, right? So whenever we have a choice, we are going to have a plus symbol, right? Next one, R1 dot R2. That means R1 concatenated with R2. So what you have to take is, first one, you have to take the finite automata related to R1 because we are having R1 at the beginning. So finite automata A, okay, we have taken. Next, followed by that, we are having R2. Then you have to take finite automata 2, link or associate finite automata 1 and 2 by using epsilon transition, right? So same. So here just observe, this is very simple. R1 means take the finite automata associated with R1, and the starting state in finite automata 1 will become the starting state of the resultant finite automata, right? So starting state of finite automata 1 will become the starting state of resultant finite automata. So just write start there. Okay. Next, followed by what we are having? R2. So consider the finite automata 2. Okay. Then specify the transition from finite automata 1 towards F2 on epsilon. Okay. So it means finite automata 1 concatenated with finite automata 2. So how do we are concatenating or how we are associating it? By using epsilon transition, right? Since we are having R2 at the end, the final state in the finite automata 2 will become the final state of resultant automata, right? Since we are having R2 at the end, the final state in finite automata 2 will become the final state of this resultant automata. So this is how we can construct the finite automata for this R1 dot R2. Okay. So FA3 will be like same Q1 union Q2. Okay. So here we are not adding any starting and final state. So the set of states will be Q1 union Q2. Alphabet set is nothing but sigma 1 union sigma 2. Delta. Starting state is Q1. Okay. And final state is the final state in the finite automata 2. What is the final state? F2. Okay. So this is how we can write the uh, mathematical representation of the resultant automata. Okay. And last one, R1 star. Okay. So R1 star means you have to take finite automata 1. Okay. So first you have to take the finite automata 1. Next, add the new starting state, that is Q naught, and new final state F naught. Okay, add those two states. Specify the transition from Q naught to the finite automata 1 on epsilon. Okay, then specify the transition from Q naught on epsilon to final state. And next, specify the transition from finite automata 1 final state towards the newly added final state on epsilon. Okay. So here what we are doing here is we are taking finite automata 1, adding one initial state and one final state, and associating that initial state and finite automata by adding epsilon transition. Okay. And how we are associating the final state with finite automata 1? We are adding epsilon transition, right? And we are specifying the epsilon transition from starting state to the final state, right? So why? Because it must accept epsilon. So that means specifying the transition, epsilon transition from Q naught towards the final state means we can directly move from Q naught to F naught, that is final state, without processing anything, right? So by doing this, it means that it is accepting the epsilon, right? And moreover, in finite automata 1, we have to specify the transition from F1 to Q1. Okay, F1 to Q1, right? On epsilon, right? On epsilon. So this is the how we can construct the finite automata for clean closure of a regular expression, right? So I think you understood how to construct for clean closure, right? So you have to take finite automata 1. Okay. So in that finite automata, first specify that epsilon transition from final state of FA1 towards the starting state of FA1. Okay. So that part you have to do. After that, insert one starting state and one final state. Specify the epsilon transition from those states. Okay. Of course, we don't have any transitions from final state, right? So just we have to link the final state of finite automata with the newly added final state, and link the newly added starting state with the finite automata by adding epsilon. Okay? And one more, we have to specify epsilon transition from Q naught towards the newly added final state, right? So what will be the quintuple notation of FA3? It is Q1 union Q naught comma F naught. Why? Because we have added these two states. Alphabet set will remain same. Delta starting state will be the Q naught and final state will be the F naught. Okay. So these are the different ways of constructing the finite automatas for the given regular expression, right? So just try to practice this concept. In the next session, we will solve some of the problems related to it, and we will discuss about that Arden's theorem, okay, and followed by pumping lemma. So if you feel any difficulties, just try to get in touch with me. If you are having any queries, I will try to explain those queries in the next session. Okay. Thank you for watching this session.